So Chrono here, and I've got Obeliskblue13 and KCGAMEZ with me, and we are going to have a post-ban list discussion now that the ban list is out. Gentlemen, there's lots to talk about here. So I don't think we were surprised by what got hit. So I think that was definitely something we thought was coming. So we had Buster, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. We all called that. We all thought Link Ross was going to get hit, and Smoke Grenade of the Thief. Are there any surprises, starting with you, Carlos, that you thought were going to be banned but weren't?
Nothing off the top of my head. I didn't think they were gonna touch True King because Virtual World's still a deck, and they still want to sell Phantom Rage. So I thought that was probably safe from being touched. Everything else was pretty. It went pretty much to plan, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. KCGAMEZ.
I just thought for sure they'd hit LP, but I guess
Yeah,
they didn't
I
want to.
thought that too. I was very surprised to see that. You guys brought up two cards that I was very surprised that at least weren't limited. So that was one of the cards I have next here. The True King of all calamities, not at least getting limited, especially with how you're seeing decks that are building more than one. So that's kind of tough to deal with if there's two that are on the field. So I was very surprised this wasn't hit. And then that also leads to Guard Dragon, the Pitsy and LP not getting hit. I was very surprised by that. I thought they would at least hit those. I could see why they wouldn't end up hitting the True King, because, like you said, Carlos, they definitely want to sell product. But anytime there's a card that I feel like True King of all calamities that can be splashed into multiple engines, that's where you have a possible concern. Do you think that after they sell the product they want to sell, that this is going to go?
Yeah, I think so. I think once they're done selling Phantom Rage and all the Virtual World stuff, they'll probably ban True King.
Casey, your
Agreed.
thoughts? Do you think they'll do it then
Agreed.
too?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think that's coming as well. Just because it's been in the format for a very long time, at least the card has been. Mostly we've seen it used in dinosaurs in the past. But now we're seeing it being used in so many different decks. I think it's definitely going to go. But Casey, let's talk about the Guard Dragon or Dragon Link in general. I was very surprised that this wasn't hit in some way. What do you think the reasoning is behind that?
Maybe they just think Link Cross was enough. I mean, it does as effectively take a few of their tools away. And honestly, I was mentioning this before. I felt that Dragon Link was getting a little power crept in other ways. Like newer decks were being able to make certain things that Dragon Link couldn't, like calamities.
Yes.
Uh, and I honestly just felt like it was gonna get, like I said, power crept. Either that or the format was gonna shift to where it's just too much of a control format where Dragon Link doesn't really thrive.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, you were
and
talking
so
with me about that last time with Carlos and I, that there's a deck list that had come out where the majority of it was traps or spells with very little monsters.
yeah,
And
Eldritch, Dogmatic
yes,
was
yes.
yeah.
And it's been interesting. I've been noticing other top Yugi tubers talking about how they feel that we're moving to a slower, more controlled format. And so you think Guard Dragon won't be able to keep up? What cards do you think are not going to be able to keep up in what they play?
Um, so it's mainly their boards, right? So what does a 1 to 2 negate board do? Even if it does use Dragoon, what does it do to 5 back row? It doesn't do anything.
Right.
Because those traps are going to be real. Those things can happen. Even I mean, we're finding decks like Shadal. They can push. Sorry, I should specify. Should all Dogmatica invoked.
Yeah, yeah.
they can they can push through uh, just a couple things. We're seeing kaiju's being main decked by Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing lots of different things that if you only are putting out 1 to 2 negates, it's not doing anything. So those combo centric decks are now getting phased out unless they can make True King of all calamities.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense to me. Carlos, what are your thoughts on Dragon Link still being around? Not they haven't limited it in any way.
So I think their thought process was obviously Link Ross banning that really takes away some of the power of the deck, like Casey mentioned. But also, I think the most unfair part of Dragon Link was the ability to end on several negates and then also locking your opponent out of the extra deck.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Buster.
with the
with the Buster
Buster.
lock.
Yeah.
So now that the Buster lock's gone, there I think Konami sees it like okay, it's significantly more fair than it was before.
No, that makes sense to me. I could definitely see that. Another card that I was surprised that wasn't limited was Helki Fibrax. I really thought that they would at least limit the card. Let's start with you, Carlos. Why do you think this was still allowed to be at 3?
Because they're trying to sell product. Like they just had the Yu-Gi-Oh Day, and the Yu-Gi-Oh Day basically people were competing for the Halki Fibrax mat and
Mm-hmm.
some other accessories with him on it. And I think they're done selling the card, but I don't think they're done like it's become such like an icon in Yu-Gi-Oh that I don't think they're done selling like products with Halki Fibrax on it. I think they want to kind of maximize on the potential to like sell merchandise with him on it, and so I think that's why they haven't banned it.
No, that makes sense to me. Your thoughts on that, Casey?
No, it's the same thing. I mean, honestly, he could go to 1 and it doesn't change anything. So I think they're just figuring leave him at 3 because they want to advertise more things with him on it.
No, that
Just
yeah, and I could see that. I just think that at least a hit to 1 would have stopped people who may have enough room in their extra deck to go through the combos twice. So,
right. And well,
but if we're going
that's
slower, that may
yeah, that's
not.
what I was
They
gonna
may
say.
need that. Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah, keep going on your
Yeah,
thought there.
sorry, that's what I was gonna say about the Hulk. Honestly, the combos are not nearly as powerful as what they once were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Without Link Cross. Link Cross was definitely the one that was causing the biggest issues. You can still go into stuff like Despot 001 and go straight into Auroradon and then have plays from there. But these plays only exist in like niche decks. They don't go into everything. And so
Gotcha.
they won't be nearly as abused. But even then, you're super susceptible to Nibiru when you can't make Herald or anything
Yeah.
that can negate a Nibiru before your 5th summon.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Absolutely. Casey, sticking with you here. So Miscellaneous Source survives another ban list. How do you feel about that?
Um, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense.
Okay, go ahead
So
and expand on that.
so Dino's popularity is up there. Like people like the deck. There's definitely haters, but there's definitely a lot of people that like the deck, and I feel like it's supposed to be like the budget deck of the format, even though one of their cards is like $50 now.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Which is the level 1, right?
yes,
Yeah,
the
Animadorn
Archosaur.
Archosaur.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So basically, like Misk needed to stay if it was going to have a chance against the back row decks.
Mm-hmm.
But that same thing, like I don't even know if the deck's good anymore. It feels weird this format. Just I've been paying attention to the LCS tournament going on online this
Uh-huh.
weekend,
Uh-huh.
and Dino's gotten like a couple of wins here and there that they've showcased, but like honestly, Invoke Dogmatica should all, and we got Virtual World, we got the new deck Drytron.
Right.
Those are the ones that are peeking through, and Dino doesn't hurt those 3 as much as I mentioned.
Yeah.
Like Dino's best matchup was combo, and with most of the combo decks being hit, Dinosaur doesn't really have too much of a place. I mean, Ultimate Conductor's still fantastic.
Oh,
Don't get me
absolutely.
wrong.
That's a great card. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Misk going into things and still like it does things, but it doesn't do things to back row. It never did.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it
So
was also limited sometimes by certain back row. It could really shut it down in the battle phase. Carlos, are you pretty okay with Miscellaneous Source staying at 3?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest hater of Misk. Like, I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Especially now that like most of the decks aren't combo decks. If you want to have like I don't know, like Casey said, dinos aren't really doing. If you wanted to like ban miscellaneous source, probably last format was the time to do
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
They skipped on it, so
yeah,
it is what it is.
No, and I agree with that. So, because like we've talked about before, and I think Carlos, you've mentioned this, we shouldn't punish decks. And I feel that if you were to hit Miscellaneous Source, it gets punished for those Dino players that really enjoy it, and it at least gives them a chance to try and get through some of these other decks that are out there right now. But like you're saying, Casey, it's just not doing very much at the moment. So
my thing too
go ahead.
is it's not doing anything inherently unfair. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All it's doing is helping break apart boards.
Yes.
Dino is really only quote unquote broken when there is a defined format.
Yeah.
So if we know the exact decks to expect, which it kind of looks like we're getting there, then Dinosaur can main deck those hate cards, and then Dino becomes harder to beat, and it becomes a force to be reckoned with. So we're starting to see a lot of decks that are searching again. So I'm thinking Drone Lockbird's going to be really good.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yep.
And so if Dinos main Drone Lockbird, but then again, Dinos search a lot sometimes themselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so in a turn where I had to activate Overraptor's effect or Fossil Dig, if I got drolled there, I can't add Pill off of Archosaur.
Right. Absolutely. Good point. Very good point.
So that's another reason why they're kind of bad.
Yeah.
But I was just saying, like, they get more, I don't know. They get to play through things if they start main decking hate cards. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, and I am happy that the deck's still there. I don't do this very often, but the rarity bump for this was cheap. It was like $1 or $2. So I went ahead and got it, and I was afraid, sure enough, they might limit it or something. But I'm happy that they did not do that. So I was very pleased. Let's go ahead and move on now to the semi-limited list, and then what is unlimited. So I was very surprised that they give us True King's Return, but they leave one of the True King monsters, Dynamite, I believe. They leave him at 1. Does this make sense bringing this back to 2, Carlos? Or should they have brought back more if they're going to do that?
So I kind of saw this as just like a sympathy play for True Dracos. Like, hey, we really hit your deck. It hasn't been doing anything for months. No one's playing it.
Yeah.
Here's True King's Return back.
Yeah.
It helps with the consistency of the deck, but it doesn't help fix like the deck's problems. Like if you really want to fix the deck's problems, you have to bring Dynamite Knight back to 3.
Yeah.
Or you have to bring back Masterpiece back to 1.
Ooh, and there was talks about Masterpiece coming back to 1. There's a lot of people talking about that. How would you guys feel if it did come back?
So I didn't play through a Masterpiece format.
Oh,
I can tell you this. The deck, the card's strong.
It is strong.
Really strong.
Yes.
Being able to be unaffected by 2 of your opponent's typings of your choice, and then being able to essentially get a quick effect pop on your opponent's turn, it's something that True Draco doesn't inherently have.
Yeah.
Is disruption on your opponent's turn. And I think to give them back that kind of disruption, it would definitely, at the very least, would kind of help the deck see more of a rogue status than it currently is.
Well, and there's certain decks. I had a friend of mine that he loved Masterpiece in DDs, loved it in DDs, because there are so many cards that he could tribute and make it work in that deck engine. I would like to see it come back to 1 just to see what it might do to the format. Casey, your thoughts? Is this enough for this deck? Do they need to bring back more, or do you think it's okay?
They do need to bring back more for it to be a thing, but there's so much to touch on this subject for me.
Oh, that's fine. Go right ahead.
So for Masterpiece to come back, we could have seen it to 1 this format because it's slow, but he would be really focused. Like a lot of players would swarm to playing a deck with him in it.
Yeah.
There's 2 different reasons for that. A, his awesome ability, and then B, the fact that he can be just summoned and he's level 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And so level 9 allows you to get into calamities.
He's into calamities, yeah. Great point.
You could play that spell card too, right? There's a spell card that if you control like a level 9, you can spam out 1 from the deck.
Yes.
Oh,
so there's a couple different things you could do.
And what is this card? I need to know what this is, guys. That's crazy.
Monstrosity.
Hang on, so let me bring up Masterpiece for everyone.
Monstrosity.
So Monstrosity. How do I spell that? Okay. Is it World Legacy Monstrosity? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I see it. Oh my gosh, that would be quite the combo here. What a thought there, Carlos. Yeah, special summon. Oh, it's from your hand. Okay, so from your hand, but still, woo. Oh wait, oh no. Target 1 level 9 monster you control, special summon 1 from your deck. And 2 level 9 monsters, each with different type and attributes, is the targeted. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
so that's basically that card screams VFD Turbo.
Yes. Yep. Wow. Yeah, that's absolutely frightening to think about. My
Funny enough, Dinosaur was doing stuff like that with the level 9 Gizmac.
So,
but yeah, they were doing that for a little bit. But
okay. So
anyway.
I think we're in agreement then. Yeah, it just wasn't enough. There's
it
definitely
could have came back this format, technically speaking, because people are maining and siding kaijus.
Yes. Yeah. That makes sense to me. Let's go ahead and now move to the unlimited. I thought you guys were dead on with everything that you both talked about. You hit both Burning Abyss monsters. You guys also both predicted ABC Dragon Buster and Totally Awesome being unlimited. What do we think about the Gishki monster here?
It's to push Drytron, I guess.
What you guys think that is fine? You know, what's your thought process on that?
Isn't that the one that hand loops? I found it really okay. No, it shuffles cards back into your deck. It's okay.
It helps the hand loop. There's other ones.
I get what you're saying. You can shuffle the Gishki ritual monster that hand loops back into the deck to keep doing it.
Yes.
Okay, I just find it really ironic that they literally hit Smoke Grenade to the Thief, which is to take care of hand loops, and then they basically bring something back that facilitates hand loops.
Yes, exactly.
It's hilarious, their thought process sometimes.
Yeah, I don't get it. You know what I mean?
They would bring it back to kind of push Drytron, I guess. But Drytron's going in a way different direction at the moment, so
yeah, they're playing the Herald of Perfection package, which I actually pulled as a ghost rare.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, I wanted to put that self plug because that was the first ghost rare card I owned. And
I like it. I like it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's kind of like how Virtual World could technically do a hand rip combo with Gothams. They prefer to play the control with King of All Calamities. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I feel Calamities is that's a heck of a card. It's very difficult to get around.
That's why Drytron's playing Herald over the hand rip stuff.
Yeah, which makes sense to me. Absolutely. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some exciting news, depending on how you look at this. I was not excited when I heard this. The OCG just went ahead and said Firewall can come back.
It has an errata.
It does. It does. Let's go ahead and look at what this says here. So it says here you can use this card's name and effects once per turn each. So that right there is a good situation. Once while on the field, quick effect, you can target monsters on the field and or in the graveyard up to the number of monsters co-linked to this card, return them to the hand. And that was the looping that we've seen in the past, guys, where it was done multiple times, but with them saying only once per turn, that helps. If a monster this card points to is destroyed by a battle or sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Cyberverse monster from your hand. Okay, so
So
yeah, Carlos, go ahead and expand here. How are you feeling about this coming back?
I was talking to my girlfriend 2 days ago, and we actually have a collection of each of the main protagonist boss monsters hanging above our wall.
Oh, that's
And
awesome. Wow.
she looked and she was like, we need the antagonist. And so we started talking about like just boss monsters in general, and I brought up Firewall. And I was like, man, I really love this card. I hope it comes back. But if it comes back, it needs to have an errata. And I literally told her the same exact. I was like, yeah, it needs to be once per turn. And man, like they should have made it so that it only works with Cybers. And no kidding, 2 days later, they come out with this card, and I'm convinced like Konami must have like a bug in my house or something. Because I've been giving my girlfriend like, oh my god, it'd be cool if like Konami came out with Ghost Rays in the $15 pack. It'd be cool if they rotted Firewall, and literally all the things I'm doing, they're doing. So it's really trippy.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the actual card, I really like it. The card art is kind of trash. I prefer the original card art, but the balancing out of Firewall, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Casey, your thoughts?
It doesn't really affect me personally, but I mean, the card's good.
Yes, the
It
card is
works
good.
a lot better in. I think it gives. I don't know.
Salamangre, Marine
Yeah,
Set.
Salamangre.
Yeah.
It gives them something else to do finally. So that's nice.
Yeah.
For them.
And that's what I was thinking. Those pure link strategy decks, this is helpful for sure. And like you said, Carlos, I was very happy that it's now a hard once per turn. That was the problem with the card to begin with. You can't give that powerful of an effect to a monster and not expect players to find broken ways to make it to where your opponent can't play.
I think for me too, the biggest thing that they did was they made it so that you could only special summon a Cybers monster. Because if they didn't do that, I feel like Goki would still try to like hand loop it. And so the fact that you literally limit it to a very specific typing, I find that is extremely good card design in terms of balance. This time around, they got it right.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's what's nice, and that's the purpose I feel for an errata is let's make sure we get the card right now. And I'd like to see that with more cards in the future where they get it right so that it is balanced rather than just having the card on the ban list for ages. So that's definitely a pretty interesting situation that they decided, let's go ahead and do that. And I hope that they do it more.
The cool thing is they can finally start acknowledging this as Yusaku's ace monster in Vrains, because they had like this really weird thing where technically this is his ace monster, but since it was so powerful and they had to ban it in the real world, they tried to make it seem like Decode Talker was his ace monster.
Oh, wow.
And so now they could like, now that the card is more fair, they can finally start like acknowledging it and like releasing it and like doing promotional material with Firewall Dragon in the background. I think that's pretty much the main reason, because Firewall Dragon, whether you like it or not, it's always going to be a historic card in Yu-Gi-Oh, because it's an ace, it's the ace monster of a main protagonist in Yu-Gi-Oh. So like they had to find a way to bring it back, in my opinion, and this was a good job.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Anytime you have, like you're saying, the ace monster or the main character's monster, you have to find a way to bring that protagonist monsters back. If not, especially for people who are casually playing, they don't get to play things that are, you know, from the anime, and I think that hurts their product a bit. Casey, any last thoughts about Firewall Dragon?
Nope. I left the game just a little bit after he started becoming broken.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, I'm okay with him being gone or back. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like I said, I don't have anything personal with it because I never got to abuse him or see the craziness that he provided.
Yeah. I had one situation where I was burned to death with this card. So yeah, so there's other cards, of course, that were used, but I remember feeling wow, and I even had 3 interruptions, and the guy found a way to make this and bring everything back. They weren't hard once per turns, and I was like, wow, that's pretty darn good. And so I was pretty happy when it first went. And then when Carlos said that it was back, I was like, "Oh my gosh, why?" And then when I saw there's an errata, I was like, "Oh, thank God."
Yes.
Originally, when I woke up this morning and I saw Firewall Dragon erratum, and I was like, erratum, what's that? Are they trying to do like, is it like dark fluid? Like, are they trying to do like a second version of it? And then I read it. I'm like, this is just Firewall that's been errated. And I'm like, oh crap, this is just an errata. And then I realized like, oh, the OCG is doing like an anniversary set where they're releasing all the alternative arts for the boss monsters. That's why this is coming out.
Yeah, yeah. But
Which
overall, go ahead.
actually, it's kind of funny too because there was like a $30 set. Was it dual? Was it Devastator? Duel's Power? Something. One of the $30 sets had like all the protagonist boss monsters.
Yes.
And then they had Decode Talker. And it's so funny that now Japan's getting the set. They have Firewall Dragon as the boss monster.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, man. Like, I wish we got that.
No kidding. I feel like here in the States, we get gypped on quite a bit of the nice OCG products. So that definitely stinks. But guys, thank you so much for meeting, especially on such short notice, to discuss the ban list. Hope you guys leave us some comments in the description, because we would like to read those and of course respond to them. Thanks again, guys. We appreciate it. Also, if you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button. And we'll see you guys next time.
I know that you'll be back.